Hello, everybody. It's Monica Heltz with your Daily Fishers Health Department update. Today, we're going to talk about mitigation measures and why they work. Mitigation measures are the things that we continue to recommend. We can use the SMASH COVID acronym if you like. SMASH stands for social distancing, masking, avoiding crowds, staying home if you're sick, and hand washing. These are the things that we know work to protect ourselves against COVID and to keep the risk down in our community. One of the reasons that we know that it works is because in our school system, we have not had any case to case transmission within the schools. And what I mean by that is we have not had a case in a classroom where we've had another case in a classroom pop up. Even in that same classroom, we haven't had that yet. Even if a second case popped up and we couldn't draw the link, I would count that just because I wouldn't be sure. But we haven't had any of those. We do, however, continue to have a fair number of cases popping up in the schools, and that number seems to have increased this week. Even though we haven't had a defined increase in our metrics yet, I will be watching that carefully because we are starting to see some of those numbers potentially climb. We're seeing a little bit of an increase in demand on our testing site. At any rate, we have successfully sent our kids back to school in the middle of a pandemic without any case-to-case transfer. The reason it's been successful is, again, those mitigation measures: SMASH COVID, social distancing, masking, avoiding crowds, staying home if you're sick, and hand washing. We're using all of those measures in the schools, and that is how we have been successful at keeping our caseload relatively low in our very, very large schools. I think it's important to note that the cases we do have coming in from the schools have been transmitted in the home. And what we're finding is that people in the home aren't as careful. Now, if you're with your household of people that you always live with, you should be able to take your mask off and be fine. This is your social bubble. However, if you're inviting over a few people, it's important that you try to keep in mind the measures that we've been talking about. It's important that you try to be masked as much as possible. It's important that you continue to use distancing. It's important that you continue to sanitize things frequently and that you wash your hands. If you're having a very small small bubble or social bubble, you should still keep these matters in mind. If they're not people from your same household, you may be comfortable hanging out with them, and that's part of the social bubble, but you shouldn't be lax on the rest of the measures that we're recommending. And the reason why is those measures work, and the transmission that we're seeing is from people not using those measures when they're with people outside of their household. So I'm just going to say it again: SMASH COVID, social distance, mask up, avoid the crowds, stay home if you're sick, and wash your hands. Okay. So this is really important to keep in mind. I will say that for the most part, I think we've been doing pretty well. And this is one of the reasons why Hamilton County is still blue on the state's metrics. Fishers, of course, has been yellow for quite some time on our community risk rating scale for Fishers. But we do have a little bit of a lag time with some of the other when we compare ourselves to some of the other counties that have already kind of turned and seen that more dramatic increase. And I think that's for the most part because most people are doing a pretty good job. We are continuing to wear our masks in the stores and in other kind of more obvious places. But again, I do see when I'm out and about, especially if we're outside, I do see large numbers of people occasionally clumping together, maybe being a little bit casual with each other and not wearing those masks and definitely not maintaining that distancing. And I just want to reiterate that that is so important in order to stop this transmission. So please, please, please continue to use caution and don't underestimate the amount of impact that this can have on your life. So we're doing a good job. We can do better. Keep up the good work that you're doing and think of maybe 3 ways that you yourself can increase your use of those mitigation measures. Mitigation measures work. Let's keep it up. Let's keep those kids in school. Let's keep our community going. We do not want to continue to be on the rise. Those of you that are traveling, this is especially important. Please use good sense and judgment and caution in your interactions wherever you're going. Thanks so much for listening. You guys have a good weekend. Goodbye.